My friends, this is pro level. You don't have to do all the steps I'm showing you. Skipping a couple of these will make your job probably as good as I'm doing here, but I'm just going to show you how much you can actually go into disassembling the Shimano Sora ST-3300 shifters. What model year was that? Could some of you remind us? I'm just showing you how to remove the cable. I always use the rack when I pull the cable so that I'm not pulling any dirt into the housings, so that's a very good tip. This was the derailleur cable. What's left is the braking cable. This is just to show you how to remove the hood. You can easily do it after removing the shifters, but maybe your overhaul will only include replacing the hood. So this is how you do it. I'm spraying some soapy water, and then it goes pretty quickly. Just don't be too quick. Remember about that lever, inside lever, and just move your way up to the front of your shifter, and that's it. The hood is quite strong. And remember, if you are removing an old hood, the old one, you can just destroy it, you can cut it. So remember about that. I'm now removing the end caps from the braking cable, just as I did with the shifting cable. I'm gonna loosen the mounting bolt, and now we can remove the braking cable. Remember, keep the end of the cable clean. Also, we don't want to mess with the housing, so that's what I'm doing here. All dirt that's outside will be left on the rack. This is the mounting bolt for the shifter. After unthreading this one, you can simply remove the whole shifter with the braking cable. So this is how it looks like. It is a fairly easy job. And now I'm gonna try to show you how many different parts the shifter has, and if you have any problem with the shifting of your shifter, you might wanna dive deep into overhauling this one. This is it. This kind of clicking means that this shifter is in a quite good shape. This is the flight deck. What means flight deck system? It means that you could connect this shifter to the Shimano flight deck by computer. You could see what gear you're on. So you're gonna see that little electronic plug in it. So this is the cover. It goes out easily. You should not have any problems. And the other part, this is not that good part, because putting it back was not that easy, and also it doesn't hold very well. This is how the mechanism looks like. I'm showing you from this shifter from different perspective on each step of this work, because sometimes you might want to go back and see how this works. This is the system for the flight deck by computer. This is the electronic plug and the wiring. At this bolt here, this is the adjustment of the lever stroke. And here you can see, yes, the spring here, it looks like that. It looks like it's not really straight. It should be like that. It's all okay, it's all fine. And re-greasing the main parts is quite easy. There will be one pretty tricky step with putting it back with the one spring. We're gonna get into it, but just straight at the beginning, I want to tell you, this is pro level. You need to have patience and go slowly. This is the little bolt which locks the pivot of the lever, the whole big lever, shifting braking lever. After removing the bolt, I can push this one. This is how it looks like. This is how it locks the pivot. And don't worry, you can just remove it. I'm doing all the stuff slowly so I can see how it was, how to make my way back home with all the parts. This is little spring. Reinstalling that one will be very easy job. And here we have the wiring. It's quite easy to remove this rubber thing at the end. You don't need to use a lot of force. This is how it looks like. This is easy, so don't be afraid of that. There's no glue there. And now you can remove the wiring, and that's your shifter, basically, without the lever. Here is the wiring. You don't have to do this because we're gonna remove the little end for the braking cable. So this is the one. And it's a metal part with two end caps, shall we say, plastic things. And then we remove these two. On this one, the spring will be assembled to this one. The other one without the spring is just shorter, so that's easy. Here we have 8mm spanner bolt, and now we're gonna open up the whole shifting system. The other screw is on the other side. Do not forget any of these washers or spacers. I'm always putting all the parts on the table so that I can see. This is the part, you see, this is the step which will be the most tricky going back. But if you had somebody to help you, because like third hand would be nice to have, then it won't be that difficult. You can do it. I did it while filming. Just look at the parts. Maybe you don't need to look at those right now. Maybe while assembling you're gonna need to do that. This is this nut. Oh, we have another washer here. This nut here, the 8mm nut, you don't use a lot of force unthreading it, so don't thread it in with too much force. And now all the parts will go away. This is the flight deck system here, and then just part after part. As you can see, this shifter is quite clean here inside, but the grease now is kind of yellow orange. It doesn't work that well, and sometimes your shifter might stop because the poles would not move anymore. So you just remove all the parts. You don't have to do it as slowly as I'm doing it. So all this disassembling part you can just go by 1.5 with the speed it up here on YouTube, because it's the assembly. That's that important, since you already have the video I made for you. This is the plastic thing I'm holding on to right now. There's just many different parts, because we want to shift up the cassette and down the cassette. This is the right shifter, so the rear derailleur. But you don't see anywhere on the metal parts. That's good. That's a very good sign. But it was clicking quite well. I was just wondering what's inside. Is there any dirt, any problem with the grease? So it's kind of okay, but you've got now the video, the tutorial. That's how I leave it here. I do not try to disassemble any other parts. And now, easy job. Just remove the old grease, clean it, and put the new grease. What I would do if I was doing it once again, I think I would put a little bit more grease of all these parts, because there's so much friction. I mean, there's so many different parts which just touch each other, and they have to spin around the that little bolt or a pivot. This plastic thing comes out very easily, and it will be easy to assemble. Now the little spring, when I assemble it, you need to look at it how I'm doing it. And here's the pole. There is a little lock here I just did it like this, and it came out. Very little. There's quite a few super little parts. Be careful with all these. And now we've got the spring. Here we have another part. Re-grease, clean, re-grease, and put all the parts back. There's some friction here inside, so it's a good idea to put some grease there in the lever. Then we go back with the part. Sorry guys, it is so late. It's 10 p.m. right now when I'm finishing the video, and I got quite sleepy. Sorry. I hope you won't be. If you like the job, I'm loving this. Just have some tea, some beer, whatever you like to drink, and have fun with your shifters. And also doing vintage stuff is amazing. It's great. So we are now assembling. This is assembly. This pole, as you can see, has some groove, and this groove has to go towards this plate. So it's towards the shifter. You see, this is it should be like this. And now this little lock on it, you can just lock it by hand. It's quite easy. This is how it looks like. Another part, I decided to take apart these parts here. So there's another little lock there. There you go. And I think there will be like three parts here. When you use the greaser and maybe a brush, you can just clean it easily and put it back. I'm just showing you all the parts. Maybe something's broken, maybe you're looking for some part. There you go. This is how you can do it. We are just putting it back right now. This one doesn't go that easily by hand, but screwdriver just makes the job beautifully. I would put more grease. So guys, I do recommend that you put more grease. I'm using Shimano grease. The link is in the description. More grease, I think, would be better, because we don't want to overhaul this one after a year or two. I think this will be like for a whole life of this shifter, this maintenance I'm doing right now. Okay, you can see now where the spring with its arm or the hook has to be hooked on the left bottom corner. That was. This is the shifting lever. Now comes the shifting lever. Don't worry about positioning the shifting lever, because we have another part. There is a bend on this washer. The bend goes inwards, like towards the shifting lever. You see, it's on the right bottom corner. It goes like this, and it bends towards the shifter, so downwards right now. Just do it. I'm not sure what it actually does, but it's there, and it was like that. So I put it like this, and these are the parts. Now all the steps are now not that complicated. So just go slowly. Now we have another little spring. And the left arm of the spring has to be also hooked there around this metal part, and the other one goes into a little hole. You saw that. You shouldn't have any problems with these. And now this plastic part. The plastic part has some like smaller neck, and the neck goes inwards towards the plate. Now the little plate with another pole, and it goes like that. Grease, and then we're gonna have some other parts. This is it, and then comes a nice little ring with the teeth. That's the one. R, that's inside, so that's towards the plate or the whole mechanism we have right now. So when you put it there, you don't see the R. The R is facing downwards right now. Okay, you can see the pole against those bigger teeth, or this one bigger tooth there. Some grease on another spring then, and another part, and this plastic part. Cool. And it's a little like a tube, and then the spring will go into some cut right there in this plastic part. So that's here. It will go there nicely. It's not possible to put it in a wrong way here. Now you wanna match the shaping of this white plastic part with the shaping of that ring, and there is only one way to do it, so you're not gonna make it wrong. Now we're gonna have this little plate. So look at the shaping and look how I'm pushing it down, and you need to put some tension on the spring so that the spring will pop into the little hole in that plate. Now comes another part and some grease, and finally the flight deck system integration comes in. It also has two teeth which match some cutouts here in this plastic part. So there's only one way to fix it also. And now it's gonna be quite easy, and we are getting closer to putting that spring, guys. And that one can be tricky, but I would say ask somebody for help. That will be the easiest way if you don't want to curse or do some bad things with your bike. Don't put too much force on this nut, because you want the whole mechanism to work freely. Now is the spring, and this spring will go between the mechanism and the lever right there. One hook of it, it's not a hook, it's the end, goes into the hole. That's it. And the hook will be on the side of this mechanism. Just remember about putting this washer right there. So I've just put some grease on it so that it will stick. Now it's done now. It's done now, guys. I just used screwdriver, just as I showed you, in order to put the tension on the spring, and then it popped in. So I've put the spring on the mechanism first, and then I was pushing the mechanism against the lever. It took me a while. It took me some 5 minutes to play with, but you can do it with a screwdriver, because it tries to escapes from the screwdriver. It did a couple of times for me, but you can do it. But this is a pro level. If someone else could just hold the mechanism against and push it against the lever, that would be easier for you, because you could use the pliers there, and that would be much easier. The wiring for the flight deck system, that's just easy job. We are now doing all the steps reversed. You can use the pliers for threading it through that rubber part, and now we will be putting these plastic parts. Just pay attention on which side I push it. You see, the lever, the small lever is on the right side, and the spring will be on the left side. You see, that's the pivot we're gonna use. I'm just putting some grease on it, and now comes the spring. The spring has this hook here, and it goes into that hole, and then on this plastic pivot, we could say. And now you need to push it well against those two parts against each other, the bracket against the whole shifting mechanism, so that the spring will be in its place, and there will be some tension on it, because thanks to that spring now the pivot has been pushed in, and now the locking bolt. thanks to that spring, the braking lever goes back after braking. That's it. We are almost done. We are almost done, guys. So it wasn't that difficult. Some movements can be tricky. Some moves can be tricky, but all in all, it's not that bad. You can already see the cover at the front, but I will notice in the second that it's not in its place. Now I'm just showing you how to put the hood when you have your shifter removed. So you go it from the back, you go with it from the back, and then it goes super easy. You can use some water here if you want to, but it goes easy. Then there is a little lock at the end, and now I can see, okay, my cover was not well aligned. So there is this little spring, and there is a groove in this cover. The spring has to go into that groove, but you need to help it a little bit. You see now, it's right there. You see, okay, that's the place. That's the very important place. And now the part, I'm not sure whether we really need it there, but I just pushed it there back into place, and now it seems to be fine. Now we're gonna listen to the clicking. It works freely. There is not too much tension on the bolts. It's cool. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.